Well, to, kind of quickly recap all of the severe weather that moved through southern Wisconsin Saturday night. 6 confirmed tornadoes, 1 EF2, that was in the Janesville area where we just saw Armand at. 4 EF1 tornadoes dotted across southern Wisconsin, and then 1 EF0 to the west of Cornelia in Grant County. So estimated peak winds from the weakest EF0 to 65 miles per hour to about 115 miles per hour with that EF2 tornado in the Janesville-Footville area. Now, we've been mentioning National Weather Service is still continuing to assess communities impacted by Saturday night storms. That includes the Argyle area, among other communities. So we're going to most likely see at least one more tornado report out of all of them over the last 24 hours. But you can see the reds, 2 in Walworth County. Those are those 2 tornado reports. The EF2 tornado in the Footville-Janesville area. We've got the pair of EF1 tornadoes in the Marshall and Watertown area, and then there's that EF0 outside of Cornelia. We've got a handful of wind damage reports, wind gust reports, as well as large hail moving across northern parts of Dane County, southern parts of Columbia County. And this is a look at all the warnings that we experienced over the Saturday night time frame. A family, most likely, of supercells moving out of Iowa and continuing to really hug our state line communities. And interestingly enough, there were only 13 total tornado warnings issued throughout the entire year of 2023 out of the National Weather Service in Milwaukee. As of today's date, from the start of the year, that same office has issued 50 tornado warnings, which is almost 4 times the amount of warnings from last year to this year. So it's just been an impressively active year here across southern Wisconsin.
Today on the Apple Grove Church, that was destroyed in what is a likely tornado from Saturday. Fox 47's Merrill Hubbard was out there this morning for a Sunday service unlike any other.
I'm standing by what remains of Apple Grove Lutheran Church after a tornado tore through this just yesterday. People from the community and regular churchgoers came together for a Sunday service, one that reminds them that although this building is no longer here, they still have a sense of home.
Yeah. And the fire chief called and said, Dan, the church is just gone.
Since 1893, the year Benjamin Harrison was president, this church has stood here. That is until now.
Yeah, I just can't believe it. I was sitting here last Sunday, and I never dreamt when I walked out the door that I wouldn't be walking in it again.
Instead of walking through the doors, around 200 people pulled up a seat to a Sunday service unlike any other.
And today we had to get this worship going.
When something bad happens in the family, everybody shows up.
Family is a key word for this church, as many of them have lineage that dates back to the beginning of its existence.
Most of my family, most of the people that are buried here are all relatives. It's just so sad to see it go this way.
Like Phil, Mary Ellen and her family have grown up at Apple Grove Church.
This summer, the 24th of August, will be our 50th wedding anniversary, and we were married here. So it's really sad.
For Mary Ellen, it's not just a building. It's a home, a place where her family is buried, and a resting place for both her and her husband to be near them.
This is our plot here, beside my parents. It was just home. There was never any question.
With roots dating back to the 1800s, this family tree of people will stand longer than the building that brought them together.
I don't think we'll lose that community.
I talked to some community members, and they're unsure if this church will stand again. But one person told me they're confident that they're going to find a way to memorialize this area in some way. Reporting in Argyle, I'm Merrill Hubbard, Fox 47 News at 9.
Merrill, thank you. The National Weather Service will be actively surveying the damage in Argyle. A confirmed EF2 tornado wreaked havoc and knocked out power for thousands in Janesville. Officials say so far there are no reports of injuries, but as Armand Rahman found, residents have a long road to recovery from the significant damage.
Just when you think it's the worst damage that you've ever seen, you turn the corner on the south side of Janesville, and you're shocked by even more wreckage left behind by the EF2 tornado Saturday night.
Everybody's safe. That's all that matters.
Jessica Primus is breathing sighs of relief and sighs of hopelessness.
I have no idea what we're going to do from here.
After a scary night, her family woke up to find their home mangled by the tornado.
Quite a bit of the roof blew off. I lost 2 trees in the back and a pine tree in the front.
What may be more daunting than the cleanup is the cost. Currently, Primus doesn't have insurance.
So I was renting this house from my grandmother, and she had passed away, and now I'm the owner of the house. And it was between when I was having renter's insurance and homeowner's insurance. So now I have nothing right now.
It was unbelievable.
Even for residents with insurance like Julie Eichelt, cost is still a scary aftershock.
I've been told I have at the very least $30,000 to $40,000 damage, probably more.
She's preparing for insurance adjusters to come see the debris that looked like it pelted her house. The shingles seemingly ripped up by wind, and in her driveway.
Big old van tipped over. I'm nervous. I was already scared of storms, but I never thought that I'd experience something like this here. I felt like the house was going to get carried away.
Many trees almost got carried away, one just shaving Steve DeBrew's mother's house.
It was a thump, but it was more like a brushing because all of the leaves just kind of slid down the side of the house. It hit a couple windows, but none of the windows were even broken.
The type of damage varies across the city, but one thing that stays the same.
Really grateful for the help from the community.
Many residents were quick to patch up their roofs with tarp or anything they could find in preparation for more severe weather to potentially hit the area on Tuesday. For now in Janesville, Arman Rahman, Fox 47 News at 9.
Arman, thank you. And Alliant Energy crews have already restored power for roughly 18,000 customers in Janesville. A spokesperson says as of 4 p.m., about 4,800 customers remain without power. Down from 23,000, most of those affected are in Rock and Walworth counties. Alliant has called in support from Madison Gas and Electric, local contractors, and employees from Iowa. The spokesperson says they've been working tirelessly and will continue through the night. Alliant Energy estimates service will be restored to the majority of customers by 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Now, the damage from Saturday night's storm in Janesville also brought out community support, as you just saw in the package. More than 350 volunteers showed up at the Old County Job Center this morning from 4 to 10, sending off food and water to damaged neighborhoods like you've seen so far. More than 500 meals went out to those impacted, and a total of 16 stores and restaurants have donated. One organizer says the support from the community has been impressive.
It's been neat to see people say, I wasn't involved in it, but it was close to my house and it could have been me. And they just want to come out and do anything that they can.
The Salvation Army on Sutherland Avenue in Janesville is also accepting physical donations to help those impacted. People unable to return to their homes can show up to this location until midnight tonight for overnight sheltering. Volunteering will be available again tomorrow from 8 in the morning to 4 p.m.